Hey up everyone, how's it going? I know it's been a while, but I've got another video today, and the video today is when replacing the AIO in my brother's rig. It's garbage. It's a deep cool Gamax 120. It's a terrible cooler. I do not recommend it to anyone. But the cooler we're replacing it with is the trusty Hyper 212 RGB Black Edition. This is an evolution of the old trusty Hyper 212 Evo, and it's the same cooling performance, if not better, and it looks way better than the original Evo as well, while keeping the trusty cooling reliability and everything like that. So let's get down to business. Let's put this in there. The first thing first that you want to do is completely power off the system, so the system's not powered on obviously because it's not connected, but just make sure you do that. Okay, so all that's done, what I'm going to do is unplug the block and the pump, as they'll end up just inevitably getting in the way. So the actual pump is plugged in here, so if we just unplug that, and then the CPU fan, or the RGB even, is plugged in there. So if we just unplug that, right, okay, now we've got the block off, we need to get the radiator out, which is this, and we can actually remove it with the fan. All we need to do is unplug the fan, which is right there. So what we do is you just grab it and unplug it like that, and then it'll come out. No bother with that at all, really. Okay, so right, next, radiator out, and what we do is there's 4 screws at the back like any other fan. And what you do is you just get your screwdriver in and get it out. Right, we now have the AIO out and we're ready to put in the Hyper 212. All we need to do now is just clean off the CPU, and I'll show you how to do that now. Okay, this is what I use to clean your cooler, and believe it or not, it is literally Blackhead Deep Cleansing Lotion. Obviously, because of the current global climate, can't say it because YouTube doesn't like it when people say it. Alcohol's quite hard to come by, especially 91% or 99% isopropyl. So what we do is just use this and this to clean that. And this is how I literally do it. So you just open it, dab a little like that. It's probably going to go through to this, but this is like a work mat anyway, so I don't care if it gets destroyed or anything. And then you just like sort of fold it, and then you go onto here and get it on to the CPU, and see, you can start to clean it off. Okay, now we've got no thermal paste on the processor anymore. Okay, this is the cooler in the flesh, and I'll be honest, it looks really beautiful. It looks better in person than it does on camera, and it already looks really good on camera. It looks way better than the original, and we've got an RGB fan to match. I don't think the coils in there will be as visible once it's on, especially if you're looking at it from sort of an angle when it's in your PC, because it's going to be mounted like that, and you'll sort of see it from that angle like that. But yeah, this does look really nice, and it will look really nice in there. We also have the box of all the installation hardware. This is for if you need a splitter to do push-pull. We won't be needing that today because we're only using a single fan, and we've got all our brackets and such, and we've got extra fan brackets for if you're doing push-pull, so that's a fan on the back of the radiator. This cooler actually does come with a RGB controller included, but we won't be using this because we have AuraSync enabled and we have RGB headers on that board. As I knock that over, it should be fine. Yeah, but it's powered by Molex, which isn't so great. Molex is kind of crap, and it's been phased out pretty much entirely now, apart from a few callers by SATA Power. Okay, so according to the instructions, what you've got to do is you've got to put these little square top screws in, which I believe thread through the motherboard. You've got to put them in there, and they've got to be in the top part like that, and then this goes over. Actually, this bigger one goes over, the other one was for Intel, so it goes over just like so. No, that's how it goes in. That's in there like that, fine. We've got to do that 4 times, so I will time lapse that. Okay, right, so we have all of these installed in the corresponding positions. For the most part, I believe. That just goes up to there like that. There at the bottom, yeah, that's perfect. And that should just slot directly onto the back of our motherboard tray now. The screws go to the outside like this, because I've just found out they won't go in and I got it wrong. Now this is where we will use these to actually hold the cooler down in place, and like a big cylinder looking thing, and to actually screw them in. The cooler mats have included this. Yeah, if we can get it to focus, it's like sort of a Phillips head to a sort of socket, so we can screw them down. Now we go back to the cooler, and for the AM4 installation we need these long brackets. These ones are for Intel, so we won't be using them as we're on an AMD platform. So we'll be using these, and what we do is we screw them to the underside of the cooler. Right, now we can install the cooler. First things first, before you actually install it, remove that. And we need some trusty thermal compound. It actually does come with some master gel, but I'm not too fond of master gel. It does tend to crack up quite often. I prefer my Arctic MX4, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put about that much on there. That'll be fine. It's kind of dripping down everywhere, but it hasn't gone all over the CPU, well, the socket even. So that's not bad at all. It's always better to have the system actually on its back, which it is like now. And now what we do is we get the cooler, make sure it's all aligned up, and now we just put it on. Like so. Make sure the screws line up. Should feel a bit bouncy, but that's okay. That's just the thermal paste. And look, it's on. Now the cooler is all in, nice and secure, very sturdy in there. I actually had to use the opposition's screwdriver because the one I had was a bit too short. My fingers kept catching on the aluminium fins. Right, and last thing to go is the fan. So we need to put the fan on and then connect it up. It needs to go into the RGB as well as the CPU fan header. Now I'm under my desk. This is where usually my second PC or test PC goes, and we're ready to test it. Way more quieter than what it was, and it still looks really good as well. I'll need to get him a rear fan. I might use my Be Quiet 120mm Pure Wings 2. That'll look fine, but other than that, that is how you install a Cooler Master Hyper 212 RGB Black Edition. If you like the video, like it. If you liked it even more, subscribe, and have a good day.